60s. I remember it well. Sex, drugs, politics. I grew my own pot in my attic. I was almost raped hitchhiking. But if I knew how good it felt to love a woman, I would have loved myself in an earlier poem. And, of course, the living theater. Poem from Photo by Allen Ginsberg. Poem for Julian Beck. Everyone is breathing Julian all night above the light of the living theater. The curtain brought down, though admired. The death jets humming over the house, the living house of Julian, where the refrigerators still keep an even pulse as the snow seeps through the roof onto the stained glass. Julian was a child unlike the president. He excited everyone. They made him a brilliant pair of wings for a penny. They made him a glossy photo out of the New Testament. No, no, said Julian. He was going to be the archangel, the daddy, hollering through the branches of the long night. When Julian came into the room, everyone grew silent, as if they had to be still to hear when he opened the door. He liked his lines and said important things and spread his arms and made tears. Take the ninth word, he said. See the film from the thickest. Shift from the dark wings to the high wind. He wanted to talk and help everyone, and when he stopped, they tried to finish. And when they weren't sure of all the steps, they rolled him over. Daddy gone bye-bye, took off his clothes that smelled faintly of eucalyptus, and ate him. We wait all weekend for death, and it comes in with the rain, and the doctor comes in with it on his lips. In dreams, we eat ourselves. We lie in our ancient cradles, our wounded blood refusing to breathe, as the pillow refuses to ask the moon to put the veil over the waters. Dawn through the hospital window reveals Julian wrapped under sheets. After midnight, we said the final prayer with our souls, our bodies corrupted by time. But Julian was incandescent even in death. The fires in him still glowed. The dance without money. He lies down with angels while we doze in the parking lot, and the sun comes in through the yellow windows. He is dressed and ready for the black earth. Stems wither, fading, their roots like entrails to the earth. Pity that we are not corrugated like iron, incurable machines. Pray to the azure cord. The machine, not bird, with angry cry. Pin note on the moon. Turn up, both as corpse and poet corpse. The living body, the living theater. To the beautiful, nonviolent anarchist revolution, and Judith Molina. Of course, that's Judith's line, the last one.
Next, we're going to have Ron Kolm.
All right, Ron.
I'll just go like this. Mop and row.
Ron, raise the mic.
Raise the mic, okay.
Raise the mic, and then put the tape on to hold it in place.
Yeah, you can stand up with your hand.
Beware the mic. Mop and row. Vietnam was on, and I only barely managed to avoid it by volunteering to work as a community organizer in Appalachia. My wife volunteered too. We had such big plans for the folks there. We were going to bring them streetlights and sewers. Hell, we were even going to try to fix the polluted creek that ran through the middle of Maupin Road, the collection of rickety shacks we lived in. I still had this beautiful vision in the back of my mind as I watched snowflakes drift down between the worn slats of our ancient outhouse and melt on my bare knees. We smoked dope all winter and listened to Led Zepp. When spring finally came, the best we could do was a second-rate cleanup campaign. The town fathers never came through with a dumpster they'd promised, so I had to use my brand new '69 pickup truck to haul the garbage away. The wooden bed in the back buckled and splintered under the weight of old tires and broken sofas. "Too bad about your truck," my wife said. "It's okay," I said in a shaky voice, trying not to lose it. Badlands. We've been constantly fighting for weeks as we drove across the United States in a pickup truck. This trip was supposed to be a vacation, but we were definitely not having fun. Every question started an argument. Should we drive through Canada? Should we avoid Chicago? Should we spend time with friends in Colorado? Again and again, we almost called it quits and split up. We made it through Denver and headed north towards the Badlands, where we turned west, aiming for California. One of our main goals was to visit a friend who dodged the draft and been caught. He was now doing time in Lompoc, a federal prison south of San Francisco. The Badlands were both beautiful and dangerous. The highway we were on had been cut through an endless series of ridges, and the jagged edges came right down to the shoulder of the road. A couple of miles in, we got hit by a blizzard. The sky disappeared into a thick white cloud. I couldn't see anything. The truck skidded out of control and spun off the road. I thought we'd crash into a wall of rocks, wrecking the truck and killing us for sure, but that didn't happen. The pickup bounced down the side of a slope into an unexpected clearing and finally came to a stop. I turned off the engine and we looked at each other, stunned and relieved, though our cat, who'd been with us the entire trip, had jumped down and was now hiding under the seat. We hugged each other, and the cat leaped back onto your lap. I turned the engine on and slowly eased the truck back onto the highway, proceeding towards the nearest exit at about 10 miles an hour. We checked into the first motel we saw and fucked all night long. A month later, we finally made it to Lompoc, a fortified series of low buildings in the far distance, protected by barbed wire and closed-circuit video. I pulled up to a screen mounted on a kiosk and told it who we wanted to visit. The screen told us to beat it, which we immediately did. Certainly we were in a prison guard's crosshairs. Thank you.
Madeline Artenberg.
Everyone having a groovy time?
Yeah.
Thank you. This is Crack Bam. After he lifted my veil, the territory given me was orgasms like M16s, bowling, crushed pretzel meatloaf. On Mahjong night between one crack, two bam, talk of who had the biggest bedroom set, best vacations, best chance to get pregnant. I couldn't say. I'd been sneaking around with my hippie sister, eating rice that wasn't white, riding my Brooklyn train to Washington Square, anti-war protests. I couldn't say I stopped looking up to him after he kept his eyes closed during Ella Fitzgerald at the Rainbow Room, told me he couldn't get past her skin. I couldn't say I stopped looking at him after he marched me to the clinic, told me to say, "We're not ready." I was ready to toss my veil, scorch earth, footsteps barely on new ground. I fell off the edge.
And this is Express Train 60s. Jump on, jump in, no measures, no weights. Jump on, jump off, inhaling man after man, joint after joint. Pickup trucks spinning by thumbs. Jump on, jump in, sleeping on. Whose floor is this anyway? And this is Since I Was a Young Girl, after The Who. Inside Game World, we teens play to Pinball Wizard, plunked in quarters to keep the anthem going until we became a small army of Tommies, each a part of the machine, fueled by intuition. We were in deep. Pooled my thing now. When up, I run the list. Right leg forward, left leg back, unlocks my hip. Angle arms and tilt chin, sags tucked away. Suck in stomach, slowly bend. I miss the shot. When up next, I chalk the stick, stretch out over the shoulder. Gentle tap on the cue's sweet spot makes the long shot. High fives for my graying crew as I do the tight jean strut, perfected at Max's Kansas City when I was a young girl.
Is Bob Quattro here? Anyone know Bob's here? Hello? Sorry, is Bob Quattro here? Can someone? Oh, I know. We're going to go, in a moment, we're going to go to the open, but before we do, Ellen Mandel has a funny story. Let her introduce it.
Hi, this is just a very brief little anecdote. When I was at college at Harvard, I went on a date to one of the houses. The dorms were called houses. And there was a terrific concert. I was a big fan of soul music, and this was a small place, kind of like this, but wider, just a small room. There was a terrific black band, soul band playing, and the lead singer was tremendous, just tremendous. And he just worked and worked and worked. He had a great backup band. The rhythm was great. I was sitting right up front, and I just loved it. And it went on. The guy was just started sweating and was giving, and finally he collapsed. And one of the guys in the band came up and brought him like a cape and put it around him and helped him off stage. And then in just a gallant move, he pulled himself together and he came back out and he sang, I guess, one more number, two more numbers, and, huge applause, and left. And I was so moved by this performer's courage, and the music was fantastic. It was only several years later that I realized that was James Brown and his regular act. He totally fooled me. This was a great night, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Ellen. Now I have 5 people for the open. Can you do 1 minute, and then we have everyone covered? The first person.
1 minute?
Are we okay? 5 people in the open. I have Rifka, Kreiter.
You have to help me with that.
I think they should cancel the open. I think they should cancel the open. Something very small. Next up is Patricia Carragon. Can you get ready?
Well, Patricia can.
Ready, relax. We need to get through everybody because we have to end by 7:45. Just letting you know.
She can do some high grooves.
Late, my fault.
Where's Patty? Where's Patty?
Late, thank you.
Thank you, Ellen.
Where's Patty? Where's Patty?
Queen Patricia.
Everyone, please.
I'm not sure how to cut this to 1 minute. It's from my memoir,
Just
Home.
introduce it, Rifka. You'll come back.
It's from my memoir, Home Free. I'm in Mississippi in the back of a Volvo as Ford is driving. We're driving north after leaving the march. I'm the white woman in the back seat of a car with a black man in the front seat, a sure sign we're Yankee agitators. and the crackers in the Ford pulling up next to us are shouting epithets at us as they inch closer and closer to the side of our car. And the driver says, the Ford repeatedly edges a hair's breadth from the side of the Volvo, as James and I, the black student, and I keep murmuring encouragement to Peter, the driver, who was part of a driving club and wore gloves as he drove. And when I realized that they're trying to force us off the road, I thought, my God, remembering that Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodman had been murdered just recently. But I vowed not to panic, and Peter called out, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Sure," I lied, heart like a jackhammer. "Don't worry about me." And then James goes, "You got it, man. You got it, man." The Ford repeatedly edges a hair's breadth from the side of the Volvo as James and I keep murmuring encouragement. When we finally cross the Tennessee line, the Ford pulls away and passes, its putrid exhaust looking beautiful as the distance between us lengthens. Peter pulls onto the shoulder and stops the car. He takes off his gloves, leans his head on the wheel, and takes a deep breath. I could have kissed him.
Patricia Carragon.
Yay, Patricia!
I never asked to be born. Have problems I can never solve. Nor did I choose a lifetime of being bullied or assaulted. I never asked for loneliness, anxiety, unanswered prayers, the mistrust of men, the death of children I could never have. Nor did I choose the failures that would determine my future. I never learned that the polar caps were melting, that our natural resources were being poisoned, that science was being tested by idiots. Nor did I choose to step back a mile in a land of greed, bigotry, and destruction. I never thought that calamities would end in question marks, nor did I choose to believe in mindless dogma. I never knew that my nation would disintegrate rapidly, a rotting corpse wrapped in its constitution. Nor did I choose to become a shockwave racing across the internet. Resist!
1 minute.
Okay, I moved to Schrader and Page in late 1966, and this was written at that time, read at the Irondow Coffee Shop in anti-war demonstrations. It's addressed to a friend named Charles Cudgel, which means hammer. Request, W-R-E-C-K, W-R-E-C-K, request. Dear Charles Cudgel, as I your name slipped over, dear Charles, lover of burly ozone stratospheric symphony fantastique, a phosphorescence eclipsed by pragmalunic policy, hyperbiblic poetry, forgotten name in history, cudgel, cordial, not so cordial, quartidal-scopic, dead Irving Berlioz, Thomas, painful Jeffersonian demagogal. Dear Charles, I ask you, what conductor, Carragon, Klemperer, or L.B. John Swolian, recommend you in the still of T4 testing fantastique symbiosis? What conductor in this age of forgotten phosphorescence, flagellated forest, fellatio incognito, forte, in this phlogistonized atmospherious, what conductor, tell me please, what conductor, air, my kingdom, a conductor please.
Got two more names, Janet Restino and Helen Peterson. If you could do something very quickly, we can include you very quickly, right up there. Thank you. Get ready.
People get ready. There's a train a coming.
Are we gonna get a report, Steve?
Okay. Thank you, Catherine, for doing this. It's great to get to know my fellow poets and writers a whole lot better than I ever knew them before. Okay. Yeah. This is a 5-minute piece. Tell me when it's 1 minute and I'll stop.
Right there.
On your mark, get set, get ready, and go. On your mark, get set, yeah, get ready, and go, 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 get ready and go, whoa, whoa. Torn brick dress, what a mess, in pursuit of happiness. Wrong color, wrong size, smoke gets in your eyes. Wrong fabric, wrong style, stranger shoes walk a mile. Foreign born, war torn, unfed, no bed. Unwed, eating lead. Wrong religion, stool pigeon, save your ass. Turn off the gas. Don't explode, don't implode. Upload, download, reload, unload. Get on the road, yeah, yeah, yeah. Get on the road, get on the road, get on the road. High mass, low mass. On your knees and freeze, please. Bow down, cap and gown. Who's that clown wearing the frown? On your mark, get set, get ready, and go, go, go. Get ready and go, whoa, whoa. Now I'm so tired, I'll never get hired. I've been hot wired to be funeral pyred. Thank you.
Yes, good evening, thank you. In the 60s, I was becoming aware of my soul. What it was, that I had one. And in the soul, I discovered that I had the soul of a dancer. I was told I could become a flamenco dancer even though I was studying to be a mathematician. So I did become a flamenco dancer. And it goes back to my background. My parents were dancers, and we were living in a Spanish culture from Cuba to Panama. My Spanish gifts. In my childhood, I pleaded for a piano. My dad gave me a stallion. My mom gave me flamenco. Now I play hoof beats on castanets and drumming feet. Yeah. I toreadora call Toro, Toro, circling the bowl, rising above his horns, my eye into his eye. Calming, taming, my capote trails. Ole. Ole, ole. Ole.
Everyone, Peter, Sue, Helen, everyone involved in music, everybody get up on the stage. We're going to do a very quick finale, wrap up our show. Thank you so much for showing up. And let the cafe know if you'd like this show, that you'd like to see another 60s program. Thank you.
Sweet love, not just love, but for everyone. But we don't need another
great food for the throat. Where from? I know it all to you. I never knew you could write.
Anyone here? Hello?
Mike's not working?
Thank you.
Is it on?
I think so.
Yeah, it's on. Thank you, everybody. They turned us off. It's time to go.
That's their way of saying we're done. They shut the mic off?
That one, right.
All right, you're out of here.
Did you get my email? Yeah.
No, I never
I saw. I posted other people.
The only thing I have is one of the best.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I hope it was a little last minute. I sent it last week.
But I didn't, you know? I still got the
Helen, I'll be at work.